All right, guys, welcome to our Star Wars podcast, officially named Grogu Gaga, a Star Wars podcast named by my co-host Chip Holton, genius pun creator. He also named our typically winning Star Wars trivia
typically placing
team. Yeah, he named it, and that is Kylo Win, and it's so far been pretty good luck. We played trivia last week, and I had my thoughts about that because I was disappointed with.
You would think the two dudes who do a podcast specifically about Star Wars would do a little better,
Yeah.
but
I mean,
when they're accepting Tusken Raider instead of just Tusken, you got to kind of.
Yes, I made the mistake of putting Tusken instead of Tusken Raiders, which, hey, I'll give it to him. That is technically wrong, but hey.
It's not the Italian countryside, so I guess.
Yeah, under the Tusken
crusted
sun.
chicken.
Yeah. So, we only missed 3 questions, and that was counting the Tusken one. And the other question was they played the sound of a pit droid, and my mind just went blank. And so I was like, oh, I don't know what it was. Buzz droid? I don't know. And then also there was one about a specific blaster, which I didn't know. So, but, when you're playing with a bunch of Star Wars nerds, they know their stuff, so they're going to be super strict.
And when the sound quality in the room is not quite.
Yeah, it wasn't great. But hey, shout out to Reboot Macon. If you're in Macon, Georgia, cool retro arcade place.
Retro arcade and N64 and GameCube. So
all
you
of
get your
it.
Smash on. You can get your Mario Kart on.
Get your Smash on.
Get your Smash on.
Yeah. So, anyways, that was fun. But we are here today to talk about the Believer, which is the title of Chapter 15 of The Mandalorian. This is the penultimate episode of The Mandalorian Season 2.
SAT word?
That's right, yes. I remember that from the Series of Unfortunate Event book.
There you go.
The last one was called The Penultimate Peril. So that...
Wow. Blast from the past. Wow.
Yes. And actually that was the last one I read. I never read the last book. So no spoilers, guys. So I don't even know it. But anyway, we'll just briefly touch on this episode. A lot of people like this episode. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't my favorite of the season. But I did like it better than episode 2. But basically, this was the return of Bill Burr's character, Mayfeld, and we also saw Boba Fett and Fennec Shand come back. And the first thing I noticed was the Boba Fett's new armor.
I think we have different opinions on it. I really like it. The matte coloring really shows like a rebirth of his character.
Yeah, and after I read a little bit about the reason behind it, that makes sense. I do like that. And it does look nice and shiny clean.
I think what you see, that was the breakaway, was the takeaway was basically he was trying to break away from his old 5 years without it. He basically reflected and saw that he used to wear it as a sign of kind of wear and tear as a bounty hunter, as a sign of fear. And but then that 5 years he kind of reflected his father might not be too proud of him taking care of his armor like that.
Yeah,
at least that's what I saw. I don't know what you saw.
Yeah, and I do appreciate that aspect. Looking at it now, I'm looking at the Star Wars website right now, and it looks pretty cool. I can't deny it.
And plus, he has his Tusken robes under. Which
and so that
praise the dad bod I've seen, which kind of I think it's mainly the Tusken stuff under it.
Yes,
he's
that
not
also,
really
that also emphasizes it. The dad bod, as I say. Hey, but at least making the dad bod cool for all Star Wars nerds.
Thank you for me specifically. Thank you. Yeah.
So honestly, when he walked out, I was like, oh, maybe. I was tired. It was 3 a.m. I was like, oh, maybe this is not actually Boba Fett. They just found some armor. This is a poser. Because that was the first thing I noticed, was that his armor was completely different. But no, it looking at it now, I can get used to it. It was just a little jarring, but hey, it's pretty cool. And I do like the reason behind it.
And he still has the the iconic dent in the helmet, so that's still good. He didn't try to buffer that out.
Right. And then I did like the beginning of the scene when Mayfeld said, for a second I thought you were this other guy. That was cool. And then, of course,
split second later
where you see Mando walking out. And so basically this episode, they're having to find the coordinates, I believe, of Grogu and
specifically
Moff Gideon and whatever his ship is.
The Arkansas class cruiser,
light
cruiser.
Yeah. There you go. Mm-hmm. He chips the ship.
Ship and blasters, which that going back to the trivia question made me very disappointed in myself.
Yeah. So and that's where I lack, and that's why we're a good team because I don't know. I know next to nothing about the
ships
vehicles.
And blasters.
I know planets pretty well.
And Boba Fett.
So yeah, they went undercover. Mando dressed up as a trooper.
Tank trooper.
Tank trooper specifically. Yes, that's what I was trying.
Not in a tank though.
Not in a tank, but
in a very recognizable. If you're a fan of any kind of deep lore, the Juggernaut, which was introduced in Revenge of the Sith, I believe.
Yep.
And then using the Clone Wars and also my favorite Disney Star Wars Rogue One, probably my favorite Star Wars. They used it there as a prisoner transport, which is interesting. But yeah, this time it's a cargo vessel.
And that I'm really excited to watch Rogue One again. Actually, after this is over, I forgot. The more I watch that one, the more I enjoy it. So I'm really excited to watch that again.
It's just a war movie.
It's a war movie, yeah. And that's the thing with Star Wars. If you don't go in with any preconceived notions, you'll probably enjoy it better.
It's kind of hard not to have the war in the Star Wars.
Yeah.
It's
the
nice.
Star Wars.
Plus Darth Vader is always a plus.
Yeah. And that was a last minute addition. So that was
good call.
Great call. Definitely.
I remember shouting out loud in the theater. So
yeah. I unfortunately watched it the leaked scene because I couldn't help myself. I know.
Mine was I don't know if I told you the story real quick. It was a last minute. I was taking a girl out on a date and we were going to go see Nocturnal Animals, but they didn't have any showings because I think it was a limited release. Mm-hmm. So our little theater here in Macon wasn't showing it. So I was like, well, I've never seen a Star Wars, but there's this, it was actually the midnight premiere. And I was like, there's this premiere of this movie I want to go see if you can bear it. And we took it and man, I never got a second date. It's good. We're still friends there.
Might have just been a little too much excitement. I bet. Hey,
we got sweaty bits and everything. It was embarrassing.
Oh yeah, yeah. But
yeah, the Juggernaut. So Rogue One.
So, but that whole scene, anyways, back to the Mandalorian. That scene was very reminiscent of Indiana Jones. And my complaint with this episode, which I touched upon with Chip earlier, is just I thought that scene dragged on a little bit too much. It was the pirates kept coming and just kind of felt like a video game side quest thing when you think it's done and then they keep coming.
It's like, second phase of the boss fight. Yeah. Great.
And then here's another.
Awesome.
And then here's the third.
It's kind of hard and it's kind of weird that we get bored with like an Indiana Jones / Wild West train heist.
Yeah. But here's the thing. I would not be bored if this was not like a 35-minute episode. If this were a movie, I'd be like, oh, that seems awesome.
Right. Because you had so much more going on in the episode, which I think was a common complaint between both of us, is that there just wasn't enough to justify that.
My whole thing with this episode was just that it's the second to last episode. I expected something more. If this had happened earlier in the season, I would have been totally on board. So again, don't let your expectations with Star Wars we know that they can be subverted. That's all I can say.
Thank you, Ryan Johnson.
But it wasn't. It was not a bad episode. It was pretty good. I really enjoyed the scene when Mando had to take his helmet off. That was one of my favorite. Honestly, just that scene was one of my favorite moments of the show because he's Bill Burr's character was egging him on and talking about him in the when they were driving. And Mando was silent the whole time. I was like,
some cold shoulder right there.
I know. I was like, oh, maybe it's not actually Mando under there. Maybe it's somebody else. But no, it was him. And but he was, giving him the cold shoulder, no reactions. But
I think that all ties into Mando coming to grips with his worldview just being shattered.
Yeah.
In the last few episodes, man, he between Boba Fett and Bo-Katan and her two lackeys.
Yeah, so much. I mean, and that's. People say there's no like story progression here. I completely disagree.
Mm-hmm.
With the whole season has been Mando kind of coming to terms with how he was raised in his worldview, and so we see, as you said, with Bo-Katan, that was kind of like a shock to him, and then Boba Fett, talking about his history with it and
showing his chain code, which was, if you're a fan of Mandalorians, was a blast from the past.
Yeah. And then here we see him take his helmet off, and it's just his acting is just perfect. I mean, you can really see how uncomfortable he is, but how focused he is, and how determined he is that he knows that he has to do it. By the way, which I didn't mention why he has to take it off for facial recognition. So he did that, and just goes to show you how much Daddy Din loves baby Grogu.
He has fully taken on the father mantle, which I love. I think I finally bought into it that last episode where he's like saying Grogu.
Yeah.
Grogu trying to get the ball, getting Baby Yoda or Grogu to take the ball with the Force.
And he was just loving
laughing.
He was loving the reaction from Grogu.
Loved it.
And so that leads us into the scene with, I would say, the Inglourious Bastard scene, basically. With
the pub scene.
The pub scene. Yeah. What is the actor's name? Do you know?
I just saw it in a bunch, but he's been in Game of Thrones. He was the Night King for seasons 4 and 5. He's in some Quentin Tarantino. Not Quentin Tarantino. Who am I thinking of?
It could have been
Rob Zombie. No, he's in the Rob Zombie. He could have been in Tarantino.
Exactly.
I'm sure he maybe in a background character, but Rob Zombie in the last one. I think it's Three from Hell. I think is the name of that trilogy. What's it called? House of a Thousand Corpses.
Yeah, and but his character was great. I kind of wish he wasn't killed off so soon. He was very like
Hess.
Yeah,
Hess, which of course is way on the head because one of Hitler's top lieutenants was named Rudolf Hess, which I think is great if you're a history buff. I think that's a small little nod.
Yeah, there's so many historical analogies with.
Another thing with Hess, I'm just to break in real quick. I don't know, but he had a Southern accent, which was
I was going to say that
nuts. I was like, because you see most Imperials, they are they're very talking, they talk like this. But I think there's a good Eddie Izzard sketch on that, which cracks me up every time. But but I think the parallel was like a lot of Confederate holdouts was the historical parallel there to talk about more historical parallels.
Yeah.
He's kind of like an offshoot after the Confederates were defeated. There's a lot of resentment still, and I think he kind of embodied that, which is interesting. Not to get political or anything, but I just thought that was a cool historical parallel. I'm just a history buff. Mine all comes from a neutral standpoint. So
yeah, and I think it's interesting. This show has had more Southern voices than I've ever heard in Star Wars. Maybe I don't know if they even had a Southern dialect in the movies. The original
Dexter with that Midwestern accent, and you had the OG. Clone Wars, there were a few. Maber Gascon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That's another Clone Wars reference. But in the Clone Wars, they did it a lot. But for a mainstream show like The Mandalorian to have that.
But none of the live action shows, right?
I don't think so.
Or live action movies.
Movies, no.
Not that I can think of. I could be wrong. If anybody's listening, let us know. But I just thought it was interesting. The dude who, mine's blanking, the dude in the Bo-Katan episode had a Southern accent. And there's been quite a few in this show. So, hey, nice to get some representation. We're two Southern boys talking about
Macon,
Star
Georgia.
Wars. Macon, Georgia. So, anyways, Mayfeld, Bill Burr's scene as they have that kind of standoff.
Definitely a highlight for me.
Yeah.
His acting was on point for that episode. He really added some intensity that I did not expect from a typically comedic actor.
Right.
To bring in. He did a really good job of making that scene really tense.
Yeah, I was like, oh man, what's going on?
We're going to lose Mayfield right now? Like,
yeah. Yeah, like, so before this episode, I was like, okay, he's fine as a one-off character in last season. And so when I heard he's coming back, I was like, okay, we'll see. But
and we're talking about character development. This one episode brought so much to his character.
Absolutely. So I won't say. I will say, the character development in this episode was great.
The action was lacking, I think.
Yeah.
In the bigger scheme,
it was
of
just a little too drawn out, I think. But
I've never cheered for stormtroopers before. I don't think. Except maybe in some old EU stuff. But those TIE fighters coming in and saving the day right there. Just a little bring it back to that. I just thought interesting. I don't think I've ever seen a TIE fighter be like, yeah.
I know.
It was great.
Yes. The Empire. But the overall, I mean, it was good. It was good. But it's Star Wars to me, so I still enjoy it. It's hard.
It's all Star Wars to me.
Yeah, it's hard to not enjoy it. But
even Episode 8.
Here's the thing. Like, even if I talk trash about Episode 8, I've come around on a lot of things. There are some scenes that are really well done. And I think once this show and other shows flesh out the in between of 7 or 6 and 7.
And I think so too. I will definitely come to appreciate the sequels more once some of these other shows add in some of the filler to the lore and what's going on in the general galaxy. Mm-hmm. I think that was a big problem.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what my thought was when they came out. I was like, they should have had this self-contained and kind of explained more about what was going on in the galaxy at the time, which they just totally glossed over. You saw, I remember when Hazian Prime got blown up, I was like, that's Coruscant. Why did they blow up Coruscant? What did they do?
Yeah,
they didn't name drop Hazian Prime except like one line, right? Like right there.
Yeah.
Where Finn was like, that's Hazian Prime.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah, so I mean, I think the criticisms of the sequels are mostly valid, but of course they're all opinion. I think some of them are.
But I think what we're trying to say is it's still Star Wars.
Yeah, and so last time I watched The Last Jedi, it was the first time I kind of enjoyed it, and because I just came to terms with it in certain aspects. I'm never gonna like
Grumpy Luke.
I mean, not even Grumpy Luke. It's jerk
Milk Luke.
Yeah, Milk Luke. Yes, that's what I was actually gonna say. But also just his being jaded and being a jerk are completely different. I think.
But at the end, also adds the Yoda scene at the end. So it all comes out to a Star Wars movie.
It works out, and I think if we see Luke in another show or this show. That will make up for what we didn't see, and that
because I think we'll still be seeing obviously Jedi Luke, like actual Jedi Master Knight, hopeful, optimistic, trying to rebuild the Order Luke, which is what I was used to in the old EU. And once again, I was a child of the old EU, so that's kind of what I was expecting out of the sequels. But
I think if Episode 7
consider my expectations subverted.
Yeah, if Episode 7 had been what might happen between 6 and 7, where we see Luke in his prime and then see why he's jaded. I would be more. There's people walking on the ceiling. I would be more
literally on the ceiling. It's crazy.
I would be more accepting of Spider Grievous. I'd be more accepting of what we saw in that movie, and so if we do see that, I think it's going to make things better. And
we've seen it in the comics a little bit with the Kylo comic.
Yeah, which I want to see in live action.
That would be so cool. Yeah,
man. But hey, we'll get there when we get there. I'm just enjoying the ride.
But that table scene really added a lot to tie it all back.
Yes.
Bill Burr's character, what's his name? I keep want to call him Manderley. It's
Mayfeld.
I've seen Mayfield, but it's Mayfeld. Yeah.
Spelled Mayfeld, so I think so.
I think so. I keep saying Manderley, but that's a show and
Mandalorian
and Mandalorian and from Game of Thrones. But anyway, that was a really cool scene. A lot of tension. And then
yes, the big fan. Moment was with the seismic charge.
Oh, the depth charge, man.
Yes.
Oh man, that sound. If you're a fan of the prequels, man, that is one of my top 5 sounds of Star Wars.
Man.
Ooh, it's such a good sound design to
Just
it.
The absolute silence.
And anytime you see Boba coming back and using his dad's weapons, man, I love it. Yeah, because I love Django. I played the old bounty hunter game. He was one of my favorite characters. Boba, obviously probably my favorite character. Besides Ahsoka.
Yeah. When I was a kid, right when Attack of the Clones came out, I had a friend of mine, Jordan Frank, if you're listening. We talked Star Wars, and he talked about that scene, and he imitated the scene. I was like, yeah, man, that was so cool. I would just completely, just the silence that happens right before the charge is what makes it so iconic, I think.
Another historical reference too, man. Those are mines coming out of an old Navy ship instead of like an actual missile.
Yeah,
which I thought was really cool. It's just all kinds of different things. Star Wars is good with that.
This show in particular, I mean, Star Wars in general has a lot of historical.
We got boats
parallels.
in this show, like actual boats.
Yeah, that was a first.
I think it was
because I saw the trailer and I was like, that's different.
I mean, besides the Mon Cala ships being like their cities and then becoming ships, that's probably the closest we've gotten so far.
Yeah.
Now we got actual little
and
trotter boats.
And on that note, I still actually had something I meant to say, and now I remember. What's his name? Star Wars Theory, YouTuber. If you're listening, hey, we love you.
You sure do.
Let us have. We'll have you on the show, or you can have us on the show, and we'd be cool with it. But he threw out, did some research and figured out that the location that they were going to is most likely one of two places, and the first one is either Nar Shaddaa, which was like Coruscant but the underworld basically, Is that canon right now?
I'm trying to think. I think Nar Shaddaa was in the Clone Wars, I believe. I know it's a Hutt world.
Yeah.
But in the old EU, it was basically just like what Sean said, Coruscant, but without the top city.
Yeah.
With no Jedi, no
the whole underworld,
no
aspect.
Republic.
So that, he figured out the map. And
be cool.
Yeah, and so that's cool. And the other one is Kamino.
It's like Detroit.
Which Kamino makes them, I think Nar Shaddaa makes the most sense from the visual standpoint of the Mandalorian. That seems like that would fit the vibe
from the first scene, or not? I guess the first scene of the season when that guy got strung up.
Yep,
I think that was very Nar Shaddaa looking.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So it wouldn't be a big jump visually for them.
So that, in that sense, I think that's more likely. But as far as the story goes, I think Kamino is more likely because
you got Pershing and that little hologram this season. You got Gideon's plans and everything.
And we know it's all about cloning, and we know the cloners.
We've seen Pickle Snoke, and
we've seen Boba Fett.
And we've seen Boba Fett, and he just made this line this episode where they'd recognize my face. You know? So it's like obviously he's referencing the clones.
Yeah.
Because if anybody saw him, he'd be like, "Well, why is a clone here?"
So if they have this big showdown with Boba Fett returning to Kamino,
that'd be so cool.
Just so many many opportunities.
And what's going on with those long neck Kaminoans?
I need to know,
dude. Are they alive?
Last we heard from them was in the Clone Wars, the Sifo Dyas episode.
The Sifo Dyas episode,
as far as I know. But correct me if I'm wrong.
Nala Say, right? She was being all sketchy.
Sketchy. They're always
super sketchy.
Just their
rest in peace, Fives.
Their demeanor, Fives.
Poor Fives.
R.I.P. Fives.
R.I.P. Fives. CT 5555.
Any other thoughts on the episode?
The one thing I think, cool shout out to Operation Cinder. Made Shattered Empires comic first mentioned it, and Battlefront 2. That was the main focus of the main campaign. I thought that was really cool. They brought that back, and that was like the key moment where Bill Burr, Manderley Mayfield gets mad and shoots because he was involved in Operation Cinder. So just a cool little callback there, I thought. And it was basically just a contingency plan for the Emperor. Was like, well, if I can't rule the Empire, nobody can.
Yeah,
which is cool. Which is very Palpatine.
And I hope we find more about his contingency plan in this show or another show.
Sure.
Of the 3 shows.
How many orders does this dude have, man? We know at least 67.
Well, 67 would be
the first order, and then the final order, I guess. So 68 orders so far.
Yeah, that we know of. But of course, that could be something different. But so that might be fleshed out in the show, and that might be fleshed out and the other 2 shows that are going to take place during this timeline. So that is the segue into the next topic of discussion, which is all of the new
Investors Panel Bonanza.
Yes, exactly. So many shows, which
like just Star Wars only, but man,
virtually
Marvel, like
Indiana Jones too, though.
Indiana Jones, and also not just Lucasfilm.
Willow.
You got Willow.
Yeah,
that's whoa.
Yeah,
shout out to Warwick Davis. I hope he's heavily involved.
He's got.
He has.
I think he's returning. I mean, I did read that.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So we got the Mandalorian season 3 was confirmed, and the one. Well, let's talk about
you introduced the one that you. Well, first, I think we both want to talk about.
Yeah, we'll go to that one after this one.
Okay.
Because
there's a lot to say.
It's actually 2 I know that we really want to talk about. So, Rangers of the New Republic is one that takes place during the Mandalorian. We don't know anything about it, as far as I know. However, I think we might see Bill Burr show up there.
Bill Burr, maybe Cara Dune.
Yeah.
Maybe Trapper Wolf, and probably not Trapper Wolf, probably not Dave Filoni, but the other guy, what's his name? Soon, I know the actor's name.
I know the actor's name, but not.
Yeah,
we had this problem last time too.
We did, but those would be the only ones that I could think of. Right?
Yeah, and I don't think Dave Filoni's actually he wouldn't want to have a main
Can
role.
You imagine?
Like, he had to be like forced into doing his little cameos,
which
from what I read.
But interesting concept, I guess.
Yeah, so I'm, don't know what to expect. Sounds cool.
We've heard a lot about the New Republic being in disarray.
Yeah, I mean, if this goes more into the New Republic and how it kind of devolves again, that would be cool. But don't.
I saw an idea where it's like, I want Super Troopers in space.
Yeah,
I was like, I don't think Disney would go that far, but you never know. I think it'd be funny. If we get Bill Burr and the more comedic actors going on, that could work, I guess.
Yeah, and
cleaned up.
Well, we have Detours that was scratched.
Oh yeah,
scrapped. And that was leaked. One of the episodes was leaked. And by the way, that was a show, like a comedy show from Seth Green. It was one of the final shows that they were working on before Disney bought Lucasfilm. So it's a comedy. I didn't watch the episode yet. I still probably would, but apparently they had like 60 episodes made, something like that.
That's crazy, and they just scrapped all. I bet some of them are going to be reused in some capacity.
It'll come out somehow. Yeah. So I know. Shout out to our private Star Wars group over here. We see a lot of love for detours over here. So, Eric, if you're listening, I'm with you. And so, moving on, I don't have much to say about that one. But the one we are excited about is Ahsoka. Gets her own show, and it's from what I heard.
Same time frame as Mandalorian.
Yeah, same time frame, but I read it's a miniseries, so
that'd be cool. I'm down for that because they could tell an enclosed story, and of course, my theory is it's going to be about Thrawn and Ezra.
Yeah,
and hopefully Sabine and Rex.
And if not that, then it's going to lead into that.
Sure. As far as I'm aware, we're still getting the Rebels sequel show, I think, right?
Yeah, I mean, they haven't confirmed it, so I don't really know. I mean, I thought maybe this was basically the Rebels sequel, and it still might be, but we don't really know. All I know is that Dave Filoni hinted at the epilogue scene of Rebels as taking place after The Mandalorian.
Right.
So that might be the hint that this is leading up to that.
And as far as I'm aware, Filoni has creative control over this project, right? Ahsoka?
Oh, yeah.
It has to be, right?
It has to be.
I think Rosario Dawson has been confirmed as well.
Yep, she is in it. And
awesome.
From the one episode we saw, I am very excited to see it.
Hands down, I'm ready for that because she did such a good job.
Yes. And the logo for Ahsoka in the background has the World Between Worlds.
We're getting in the metaphysics of Star Wars and the weird stuff, which I'm all for the weird stuff, man.
So
I love it.
Spoilers. In Rebels, there's a Force Nexus, yes, that's the word. Called the World Between Worlds, which basically connects time and space. It's the closest thing that Star Wars will get to time travel. But I don't think they're ever going to go that full route. However,
they won't go full in game.
Yeah. Ahsoka was she was taken out by Ezra during her battle with Vader. When that episode first aired, we didn't know if she lived or if she died. But basically, through the world between worlds, Ezra saved her, and then she went her separate ways immediately. So into another world between worlds. So we don't know where she was, what's been happening with her during the original trilogy.
How she got Gandalf's robes.
And that's what I want to know. Hey, World Between Worlds, maybe she goes to...
she goes to Middle Earth.
Middle Earth, yeah. And
the Eagles.
Yeah. And so I'm excited to see I think there's a lot of potential there. And also that whole World Between Worlds thing was written so that she wasn't in the events of the original trilogy, so it doesn't really interfere, and that's why Ezra wasn't there either. So the whole Luke being the only Jedi thing was pretty much accurate for the most part. But of course, it was all retcon. But hey, do what you can, man. I want to see more Jedi. Like that's what I love about Star Wars.
I've seen some people say, "Oh, I have Jedi exhaustion." I'm like, no, that's what Star Wars is.
No, I don't have Jedi exhaustion.
The Force, man.
That's the opposite, man. All these shows, this is the first time we've seen a lightsaber in live action.
I love the mystical Force. I love midichlorians. I love the Jedi.
Yeah.
And I think anything that brings up the Force is going to be exciting.
Yeah, that's my favorite. The fantasy aspect about Star Wars is what I love. So I think there's a lot of potential there. I'm really excited to see what she does and what Dave does, and to see how the three shows interact, because Rangers, Ahsoka, and Mandalorian are in the same timeline, and apparently they're going to culminate in an epic event, I think was what they said.
Which is the most exciting thing for me is how all these are tying together, and then the one explosive event, which I have no idea what that could be.
I mean, I don't either. It could be, maybe that's the Rebels show, or maybe it's not even, maybe this is all the Rebels sequel. I don't know.
Maybe it's the trilogy by some of these people.
Yeah. Oh man, there's so many opportunities.
With that many stories tying in together, it's going to have to be a motion picture size kind of deal. I feel like, because that's a lot. That's a lot of story threads and a lot of huge characters.
Yeah, and that could be. Well, we'll get into the movies. There's.
Here we go.
Oh man, there's so much to talk about. So we're just going to touch upon the ones that we don't know much about. And I'm just going to start with those. Okay, A Droid Story. Fun, all right. Next one.
R2D2 is Buzz Lightyear.
If
or
you
something. I don't know.
if you have anything to say, you're welcome to add.
No, I don't.
And then
we already had one of those back in the 70s or the 80s. And,
yeah,
it was not great.
The Lando show, I'm excited about. I think Donald Glover is great. I love Lando, but I didn't really know what the story was going to be. And then I was like, okay, wait a second. All these shows are interconnecting. This show is going to take place between 6 and 7, and it's going to show Luke and Lando doing the whole artifact quest, and that's what I think.
I would love that, and maybe have Donald Glover.
Yep,
and then Billy D narrating in a kind of like a flashback or like a narration kind of deal,
like the Young Indie show.
Yes,
and so I
get Billy D while you can.
Exactly.
That's what I'm
saying.
Get
all these people while you can. Yeah, and so that's just what I think was going to happen, since the whole Disney approach now seems to be the Marvel approach, which is actually called having a plan.
Have a Feige.
Yeah, and I mean, there's there can be criticism of that, but I think the criticisms of the way the sequels were handled are very valid, and I think they know that, and
more valid than the criticisms of the MCU, I think.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely. But so that's what I think. I think Sebastian Stan, knock on wood. I talk about setting my expectations too high, but I'm going to be disappointed if
you already
he's not
have
Luke.
him, Disney. You already have him in your fold. Just go ahead and bring him into the Star Wars franchise as well.
And he'll
perfect Luke Skywalker. Perfect young Luke.
Yeah, good actor and about the exact same age. Maybe
the only problem is if he has a beard like he does after Episode 6, which we know he does in canon, it's going to be Winter Soldier.
Yeah,
that's Bucky.
Yeah, but maybe he doesn't have it at this point.
Maybe not.
Who knows?
We'll see.
I know
he did in Battlefront 2, which took place right after Episode 6.
Did
he looked just like Episode 6 Luke, with the black robes, the black suit, and the green lightsaber, and fresh cut, and the same Mark Hamill hair.
Yeah, and then Han Solo grew a beard. I know
he did. So then they did a switcheroo, I guess.
So maybe they'll have Alden come back, bearded Alden.
I would love it, man.
So
and to search for Chewie, man, that'd be a show.
Man, a lot of potential here, but that's what I think. That's what I hope. If I'm wrong, that's okay. It's just one show. If I'm disappointed by one show,
there's just another to take its place.
That's the thing, and I totally get Star Wars fatigue in theory. However, when there's so many shows right now, unless you feel like you have to watch them all, you don't.
And also, how many people get Marvel fatigue?
Yeah.
Nobody. Like everybody was hyped for every single Marvel.
I know some people who do.
Oh, okay. I don't, man. Every single one that comes out, I'm like, yes.
Probably some people in the group, in our Facebook group. But
shout out.
Hey, I'll bring those dudes on.
They're all just
later.
scruffy looking nerf herders anyway.
Exactly. But yeah, I think that's the thing. There's so many. It's like 10 announced or something like that. So if 3 of them are good and 3 of them make you happy, that's great. That's
just ignore the other ones.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't watch Resistance.
No matter how much they tie into the ones you don't like, tie into the rest of the continuity, they're not going to be in such a significant way you can't enjoy everything else. Because even like The Mandalorian, we're getting huge things, Boba Fett, Ahsoka, Bo-Katan, whatever. But like, even if you don't know who those are, it's not going to affect your overall enjoyment of the show, I don't think.
It shouldn't.
They're self-contained, I think, within these episodes. So I think they're going to continue down that path.
Even, I mean, you can watch a Marvel movie and not be completely out of the loop, but still have the general idea of what's going on.
Why is the guy from Friends in here?
Yeah. So, I mean, that's just, I think, just try to enjoy life. Enjoy Star Wars while you can, because hey, who knows what's going to be like in the future.
Y'all remember the dry spell we had? Shoot.
Oh man, what? Well, we had Clone Wars after Revenge of the Sith. And then,
but even to the general audience, man, we didn't get movies.
Yeah, we didn't get movies for 10 years.
Woo.
And then we had, 5 movies, right? 5, yeah. And then spent a year of virtually nothing, and now we get all these announcements. And I'm happy because it seems like they have a direction and they're going to be connected. But moving on to the next one is the Bad Batch.
What a trailer, man.
Trailer looks a lot better than I expected.
I was like, how are you taking the most boring storyline from the last season of Clone Wars and making it into a whole show?
Yeah.
But just from
second most boring.
Oh, well, I forgot about those other ones, to be honest.
Honestly, I didn't even finish those ones. I'm sorry. I know I'm a terrible Star Wars fan, but yeah, it takes place immediately after Revenge of the Sith. and it has Fennec Shand.
Which, woo, talk about tie-ins.
Yeah, continuity. I love it. It's so exciting.
She's wanted by the ASB, and I think we're going to see why.
I just love continuity. It gets me excited.
Me too.
I don't know why.
Me too, which is why I'm so into the books and stuff, you know.
It's why when I watch Friends, I just scrutinize it so much.
That's why when I watch Friends, I also watch Joey as a compliment, and it makes it so much better.
It's the continuity in that show is the worst I've ever seen. So, and Star Wars has been known for bad continuity, so I'm hoping this is the way.
Well, yeah, the way with the dedicated story group, I think they're gonna do much better.
So that looks fun. I'm expecting that to come out early next year, like February, March, maybe sooner. That would be awesome. Then there's Star Wars Visions, which is this little, an anime type thing. I don't think we know anything about it.
I haven't heard of it yet at all.
Yeah.
So.
Cool. It's a series of short films on Disney Plus composed of anime style episodes from it says similar to the Animatrix or Halo Legends. So that sounds fun. I don't know what it is.
Just get Jenny Tartakovsky on it.
Yeah,
old Clone Wars, man. I want that animation back, dude.
Lobo, man, Lobo.
Oh, he loves that.
Shout out,
Lobo.
I asked him if he was excited about this. He's like, I haven't seen anything about it, so I don't know. I'm like, okay.
But Halo Legends was cool.
Yeah,
and so I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, so I don't know what the story is, but it sounds like it'll be really cool. Then there's Andor.
Love it.
I think obviously Chip is excited about that one. Oh, okay. I didn't even know this. It's 12 episodes. I don't know if that's...
I think they're dropping, new stuff's dropping like minute by minute.
Yeah, I really want these shows to not be dragged out. I want them...
How much more can you do with Cassian?
I want more I want them to all be mini series, except for maybe the Mandalorian. We can keep that going since we're on that way. But the rest, keep it a mini series so that they're contained. We don't get overwhelmed I think that with the Star Wars fatigue, I think you can be a little bit overwhelmed, especially if you're a new fan. Like even for me, seeing 10 is overwhelming. But I'm just gonna watch what I enjoy. If I don't enjoy it, I'm not gonna watch it. And
I'm just looking forward to a spy show.
That's the beauty of it.
What I'm looking for. James Bond in space. That's what Andor, for me, I think might be.
And so that should be fun. I think, I didn't ask for it, but I'm going to watch it.
I don't think anybody asked for it.
Yeah.
But if we get K2, I'm excited.
Oh, yeah. K2 is my favorite from that movie. Yeah. And then we have Mon Mothma returning.
Oh,
Genevieve
sweet.
O'Reilly.
I love her.
So, yeah, 12 episodes. That's exciting.
Smith's in there, too.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm hoping it'll be released in the fall. I'm just throwing stuff out there. But hey, if they have 10 shows, we don't know how far along in production these shows
There's
are.
still so much that probably wasn't even released to the investors either. I mean, Star Wars keeps things under wraps. Lucasfilm does, which is good because then you get little tidbits and surprises, and I love it.
I like surprises. I'd read that there's still 2 shows in development that they hadn't announced, which could be Rebels. And then Kylo Ren, Luke Skywalker show.
That's definitely Sean's on his big old bucket list for Star Wars. Probably number 1.
Yeah, if I had to pick one, it'd be the Ben Solo, Luke Skywalker, between 6 and 7 show. But I'm excited for whatever they have. I need more Kylo Ren. He deserves it.
Dexter Jetster, Star Wars.
And yeah, his will be coming out in 2034, I believe. And then I had another one. Okay, so Rogue Squadron.
Super excited.
I know Chip's super excited. I'm a little surprised that it is a theatrical release. That seems more like a show to me.
You would think but it's just my feeling's gonna be like Top Gun in Star Wars, which cool. I love Top Gun.
I haven't seen it. Blasphemy, I know. It's one of those movies. No,
I understand not seeing the sequel. Understandable.
Did you see it?
No, no. But no. Jenkins, Patty Jenkins. Is that
Patty Jenkins, who directed Wonder Woman?
And I love the first Wonder Woman. I'm cautiously optimistic about 1984.
Me
we'll
too.
see. But the first Wonder Woman was great, and Patty Jenkins, I think her father was an Air Force pilot.
Yep.
Which I think is a perfect fit for that, and hopefully, when's it supposed to take place? Because I've seen multiple theories on it.
Well, here's the thing: is it said, "quote This film will be about a new generation of fighter pilots as they earn their wings," according to Kennedy, risking their lives in the future era of the galaxy.
So that's very vague, but that definitely means sequel era Dennis Lawson Wedge Antilles coming as a mentor. I think
it absolutely implies post Rise of Skywalker, and I think that might signal the return of some people. Wedge.
I really hope Wedge. Wedge was one of my favorite OG characters. Like seriously, up there with like Luke and Han.
He needed more than
that's why Lando
little cameo. So I think he'd be open to it, and then I think there's totally a chance that Poe Dameron could come back. I know the cast is kind of jaded with the sequels, but money talks.
Money talks. I think Oscar Isaac is a very professional actor, and I think he was very jaded by the kind of the mishandling of the story and how everything was on set and just the production of it.
I think they all were, and I think they were all gave their best. Like, I mean, Finn was so sidelined, and he just John Boyega, like he did what he could. I mean, so again, those criticisms are valid, but I think if you take the criticisms and work on it.
That's what they're foreshadowing with Boba Fett coming back. A Phasma.
Oh
coming
my
back.
goodness.
That's a joke, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, not even a joke. After she basically died
was a joke
in Force Awakens. I know. And then Phasma was a joke. But hey, totally bring her back, make her cool.
They did it with Boba.
Yeah, but they have to do even more with her.
They have to go so far.
They got it, but hey, let Gwendolyn Christie actually have some acting. Like she's
wonderful.
She's great,
actress,
and let her take her helmet off, and that would be cool. And I read that this could be about the retaking of Coruscant after the First Order.
Ooh. Which little bit of Duel of Fates.
Yeah, exactly.
That's screenplay.
Right, and that totally could. I mean, the people in charge of these things are not oblivious. For the most part, I think.
As we've seen for The Mandalorian, they are very aware of the fan base and the fan expectations.
Especially now. So I think something like that could be really cool. I would love to see it.
I hate that the sequels had to be a learning lesson, but I think finally they're retracing their steps and seeing what actual Star Wars fans really care about.
Since the beginning, I had always said they should have done the standalones first.
Yeah, they should have just shot off with Rogue One.
Because that would have been a box office hit no matter if it was called Episode 7.
No.
Yeah.
Right.
So that was the biggest thing, I think. They would have learned, they would feel things out, and yeah. But it is what it is. So that'll be cool. It says 2023.
Okay.
So 3 years.
That'll be the first movie we get, I think.
Yeah. Because and that leads us into Taika Waititi's movie.
Okay.
Which still no release date. So I'm guessing 24, 25. Hate waiting for the movies, but it's nice to actually have a pause to make the movie experiences.
Exactly. And about Taika's movie, I love Taika as a director. He's phenomenal. He can do action. He can do comedy, which I love. Mm-hmm. But from you posted something on our private group, Dawn of the Jedi. I saw that.
Yeah.
So what do you think about that? Because I know that goes back to the origins, right?
Yeah, Dawn of the Jedi was I believe like one of the last books of Legends before canon was was it the beginning of canon or the end of Legends? I don't know. It was very early on.
I think it's Legends material.
Yeah. So yeah, basically it's going back to the very beginning of the Jedi, which could be really cool. I don't know much about it. I just saw the symbol on the that they showed on the background when they showed his movie at the presentation, and then of course he has this cool Star Wars font that looks very retro, very much like Ragnarok.
Ragnarok, and what's the new one?
Love and
Thunder.
Yeah,
love it, dude.
And hey, oh man, hey, we might go a little overtime tonight because I still got so much to talk about. Because that just made me think of Natalie Portman, and I want to get there.
Oh wow! Thor,
because she's coming back. But I think I'm so excited for his. I want to know what his is. If it's that, and then the other theory is Mortis.
A lot of Mortis imagery in that, and just that one thing, because of course Mortis basically is Dawn of the Jedi.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll all relate, I think, to some sort of origin of the Force and where it is in the galaxy and how it stands.
Yeah, I'm super hyped. Either of those, I'll be very happy with. That's what I want to see. That's the kind of Star Wars movie I want to see.
Right,
but of course,
the weird stuff.
Yeah, Star Wars is has something for everybody. So like Rogue Squadron is not going to be the same as that.
It's going to be, I think, Rogue One war movie, and then you get
completely different. So I'm excited for both. Let's see what else. Now I think talked about everything except for the last two, which is the Acolyte, which is the one I would have to say the most excited. Or after Ahsoka and Kenobi, the Acolyte is the one I'm most excited about because it is a mystery thriller set in a galaxy of shadowy secrets and emerging dark side powers. And so this is very close to before the Phantom Menace. So it's near the end of the High Republic before the Phantom Menace, and I think.
Have you ever heard the tragedy?
yeah, exactly.
But
so I think it's gonna. This could be a Palpatine show for all we know. It literally could just be.
Shoot, I would love that, dude.
Yeah, I want to see Palpatine in Plagueis, and I think even if it's not that, I think it is gonna. That's where it's gonna end. At least the series will end on the beginning of Palpatine.
Do we know how many episodes? It's going to be a miniseries.
No, we know nothing other than
a mystery theater. That could be multiple seasons built over over time,
right?
Like a long story. That's cool. I don't think we've ever had like a mystery thriller in film of any sort.
Yeah,
we had some episodes of Clone Wars which are kind of investigative. But other than that,
episode 2.
Sherlock Obi-Wan.
Yeah,
I loved it, man. Detective Obi-Wan was my favorite thread in that movie, I think.
Yep. So I'm super excited about this one. The logo looks cool.
I don't think so. Initially, when they announced Project Luminous, which is the High Republic we know now, they said it was going to be multimedia, but they said that it wouldn't be any kind of live action, which I think it's awesome that they're finally revealing something of the High Republic, even if it is just the end.
Yeah, but actually, I heard that they are having some animated High Republic show. I think that might be the other show that was hinted at. But again, we don't know.
Cool. Never been explored, that era of Star Wars. Not even in the Legends, really.
I just saw a preview of the first comic, and
me too.
It had Yoda, Grandmaster Yoda, and Grandmaster something.
It seemed like Yoda had some doubts.
Yeah,
about the way the Jedi were going, which is cool because that's very
interesting.
Not like he was in the prequels. So maybe
young and inquisitive,
young
and,
at 700
and rebellious.
years old.
Yes, exactly. This is only 200 years before, but.
He probably learned a lot. I bet Acolyte might touch on why he became that way. Who knows? Who knows, man? That we are wide open. We're in the Wild West.
So many connections here, like potential for connections, and oh man, it'd just be so great to have like some cohesion.
But yeah, Acolyte is probably I think the reason you mentioned it second to last is because it's my second most anticipated project.
Yep, me too. And so I'm excited about that. But apparently, there's 2 Grandmasters. By the way, what was that other guy? I don't know. But
I've never seen that species before either.
Yeah, he kind of.
But I love once again they brought in the way different masters view the Force.
Yeah.
What's her name? Chris. Avar Chris. She views it as a song, and me and Sean are both musicians. That to see that the Force viewed as a symphony, I think is what she views it as. So cool. I think one views it as a river, one views it as a mountain. So cool.
Yeah, that's a really unique approach to it. So I'm excited.
And the lightsabers, man, look so cool.
Yeah, and so many variations of lightsabers. I wish we hadn't seen more lightsabers.
We got a double-bladed right there in the first panel, basically.
Yeah.
We got a double-bladed lightsaber, so.
Man, that should be fun. And but yeah, and I think that maybe the reason there were 2 Grandmasters and there's only one later is because of some dissent that happens and something happens.
Very ancient Rome.
Or
Republic.
A Grandmaster could just be an age thing. We don't even know.
That's true.
In canon.
We know Mace Windu was a battle master or whatever that meant, but
yeah,
whatever vague title that is.
Vapod.
Vapod.
Or whatever. I don't even know how to pronounce
Form 9.
Yeah. And okay, the final thing we're going to talk about is Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah. You see, Chip's got the puns here. Grogu Gaga. Obi-Wan.
I speak in puns and dad jokes and sarcasm.
I think Obi-Wan Kenobi.
That's a good one, dude.
Yeah.
I like that one. Shoot, new trivia name.
Yeah, that we got so many now. So big news: Hayden Christensen will return as they said Darth Vader. They didn't say Anakin. So
that's what I've seen generally with
so that's
theories and stuff.
I think we'll see both. I think we'll see flashbacks of Anakin or a vision of Anakin.
Sure.
And I think we'll see him as Vader. I think we'll see him without the helmet a lot more than we would expect. I think it'll be a lot of
old Burnhead.
Yeah, like his meditation chamber or whatever.
Or his. I know we've seen there was a teaser of him on his throne
on the throne
in Mustafar, which is I'm sure, or he'll be in his back to tank. Who knows?
And that could just connect to the whole sequels with the with the
Oracle,
a Wayfinder,
and the Wayfinder, the Oracle, the Oracle of the Webbish Bog.
Yeah,
I think,
which was a deleted scene, a tragically deleted
scene. Because
oh man,
I've just seen the Darth Vader comic where
yeah, I read that one, and
he meets the Oracle.
So cool. So there's potential for connection there.
But yeah, they took old Hayden off his farm.
Yeah,
got him off his farm. Really, man of your talents.
I think Ross said in the group, our friend Ross said, the classic story of a boy leaving his farm to join a Star War. And it's true. And I'm so happy to have him back. I'm happy that people are excited to have him back.
I think the fan reaction has been so wholesome.
It's so good.
I'm so happy for Hayden, because I think me and Sean are two of the people who have since episode 2 have defended Hayden Christensen.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the people are now realizing a lot of the criticism was the stilted writing. George not being able to write romance.
Yep.
I mean, honestly.
Yeah.
Because a lot of Anakin's other lines were fine.
He's not classic. A prequels director. I mean, he's not a actors director. George is not an actors director.
Right. He's a plot guy.
He's a big picture guy.
Yeah.
So
world building.
And I can honestly relate to that. I feel like I would be so focused on that as well.
Because you do not like sand either.
I hate sand.
Oh, I hate sand.
It's coarse and rough and gets everywhere. It gets everywhere.
The kiss you should never have given me.
But I for some reason, after this announcement, I got really excited to watch Attack of the Clones again. So I'll probably do that at some point soon. But I'm just so happy. There's a lot of potential there. I don't know if it's confirmed or a rumor, but Captain Rex is going to show up. And
Good.
He will be.
I've also heard
Captain Rex is the clone commander in Revenge of the Sith that was close to
Cody.
I mean Cody. I said Cody the whole time. I mean I said Rex.
I meant cool. I haven't heard Rex, but
I meant Cody.
I would be so down for Obi-Wan and Rex going on Detective Obi-Wan and Detective Rex doing seeking something.
All these clones look the same.
They recognize my face.
Yeah. So yes, take that back. Commander Cody was the one in Revenge of the Sith who was close with Obi-Wan and turned on him. So I think there's a lot of that, supposedly hunting down and looking for Obi-Wan. And I read something somewhere. There's so much out there. I don't know what's confirmed, what's rumor, and what's a leak. But that they're
the coming weeks
they're heading to a watery planet or something.
Some sort of watery in the where there's just the art, the concept art.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah,
there's a water world, Mustafar and Tatooine. Obviously, I think was in the concept art.
And everybody's like, Obi-Wan can't leave the planet, and I'm like, I don't think watching over the boy means literally for 20 years he can't do
Guardians
anything
already.
And somebody else thrown out was like, Ahsoka can be the babysitter.
Oh, I would love that. Oh my gosh, yeah, that'd be great. Ahsoka just, I guess it wouldn't be changing diapers at this point.
I mean,
he's 10, so
this is pre-Rebels, right?
Pre-Rebels.
So she's around.
Because Luke would be like 17 Rebels. So yeah, he's like 10. I think it's from 10 years after Revenge of the Sith.
So he's around here, and I mean, Ahsoka is around. She's not like in the world between worlds at this point.
She's basically
somewhere.
Fulcrum at this point, I would say, almost.
So that's possible that she could return. And
I think after the Ahsoka novel, or the one that came out recently, she became Fulcrum, and that was like right after Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
So she'll be doing some stuff with the Alliance, I believe.
So she could show up, and just how cool would it be to see the three of them, Clone Wars live action? Amazing.
Shoot, bring in Rex. Have a Rex and Cody moment.
Why not?
Why not at this point?
Everyone gets a cameo.
You get a cameo.
So there's so much potential, with Qui-Gon as well. He's not confirmed, but he's going to show up.
At least his voice.
Yeah, at least.
Because he didn't show up until physical form, I think, what do you get, semi-canon in
Was that right? Was that the first time he did that?
I think so. What was that?
In the Certain Point of View?
Certain Point of View, which were a collection of short
stories.
Certain
Point of View.
Yeah. There's one where Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon were talking right before New Hope. I think it was right before Luke showed up at Obi-Wan's hut.
So if that was the first time, then yeah, we might not see him.
But we could get Liam Neeson's voice.
Yeah.
Which might work better because Liam Neeson, I mean, he's not 20
True.
20 years ago.
But he's aged pretty well. And,
he has.
And then again, Hayden's 20 years older too. So
that's true. That's
18,
true.
Whatever.
Well, with de-aging too.
Yeah. So I don't know how that technology is with a TV
and from
show.
a certain point of view, like I said, I think it's semi-canon. I don't think it's necessarily set in stone. I think the story group could easily overwrite that for
it's fluid.
Right. Just let the flows.
So yeah, he could still show up and he could go on his whole Yoda adventure through the Force priestesses and all that. Oh man, that's the kind of stuff I want to see. I mean, that's what I like, but I feel like there's potential to do a little bit of everything in the show. That
could be a lot more grounded. And
I don't know. And they did say it would be the Vader and Obi-Wan would have the rematch of the century,
whether that's
or a rematch of the something.
And also, you had Hayden saying, "I can't wait to," or is it Ewan? They both said things about
have another swing at
each other, and they've both been like so excited. I think Hayden was like, "Can't wait to be back with my friend Ewan," which made my heart just like jump.
Yeah, that was my favorite thing about it, is to see how excited they are.
Yeah, especially Hayden. I'm so glad, and I think he's very aware of the fan reaction too.
Yeah, I'm very happy. I mean, it's crazy to me how the perception has changed, but I'm happy. Like, I like when things that are hated. I don't want anybody to hate on things. I hate on things, but like, I mean, I like to come around too. Like, I don't want to hate on Last Jedi anymore. It's done. It's over with. I'm gonna enjoy what I enjoy and enjoy Star Wars as much as I can. And
despite 2020 being what it is, I'm trying to leave all hate out of my heart.
2021 is going to bring us.
There we go.
Something I don't know. I don't know when this show's coming out. I hope the sooner the better. But I mean, do you know if season 3 of Mando is filming yet?
I think it's filming. I think it's going green.
Because Kenobi is filming in January, beginning to.
When are we getting Kenobi?
We don't know.
So
it's filming in January. If they're filming at the same time, I don't know. I would love to get Kenobi before Mando, just because I'm so excited for it.
I know.
But
we'll see. Well, we know from the way they do it, they can do a turnaround real quick. They can probably have it ready, especially it being a limited series.
Right, and that's the thing. I read initially it was 6 episodes, and now I think it's 4-hour-long episodes.
Which
that's cool too.
Cool.
4 hours.
If they can clean it up and make it more meaningful.
Yeah, better than a movie. Honestly, this is meant to be a show, I think, and a lot of these are. So I'm glad.
Need any 4-episode Clone Wars arcs like we had that last one that we forgot about.
Yeah, none of those.
So if they can condense the Kenobi series down into something very meaningful and it's shorter, I don't care.
That's why I want them to all be miniseries, so that there's no reason for filler. Clone Wars Rebels, they were 22 episodes a season,
and that was just because of the format of being a 30-minute show, serial, animated show, and so there was obviously some filler.
Now with streaming, it's a completely different approach, and there's really no rules anymore. They could release a 45-minute one-off Dark Disciple thing. I mean, there's no rules.
It's one of my favorite.
It's a lawless
one of my
place.
favorite adapted arcs.
Yeah, I would love to see.
I love Asajj, man. But yeah. So I'm excited for the future of Star Wars. I really am. I'm optimistic.
I think we're about to run out of time because we went a little bit over. Because again, we were so excited. We have so much to talk about. But if you're still listening to us, we appreciate you. Follow us on Spotify and iTunes, all that, Apple Podcasts, Facebook, Instagram is Grogu Gaga podcast, a Star Wars podcast, and that's the official title. So this is 3rd episode of first with the official name created by Chip Holton and his genius pun creating brain. And
my dad without a child.
Yes, exactly. So we're looking forward to the next episode where we will talk about the finale, which is sure to be
explosive,
a lot to talk about, and perfect. The dog is barking, so this is a perfect time to end.
Oh, my dogs are barking too, so we're all good.
Dogs are barking. But hope y'all have a fantastic week, and may the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you.